Hi everyone, I am Hind Al and I'm going to present a work about criteria-based evaluation of OTP authentication schemes for the metering system on Smart Grid. The work will be presented as follows. We will start with an introduction and our contribution. We'll present then Smart Grid privacy concerns and evaluation and analysis of the selected works. In a smart grid, consumers' use of electricity is controlled, and the collection of consumption data is automated. This functionality is ensured through the metering system. The smart grid structure thus is responsible for collecting, measuring, and analyzing electrical energy consumption data. The metering system provides bidirectional communication between the end devices, the smart meters that transmit the measured data to the energy producers, and the utility services. Smart meters need authentication from the consumer side to be able to measure and collect consumption data. They are also physically or mentally accessed during installation and maintenance by technicians. The third side of communication is related to the utility structures that process data to energy producers. The several communication links of smart meters may be a source of security concerns to the smart grid. Any fraudulent access or data leakage with criminal marketing or concurrently targeting will abuse the collected data and compromise the privacy with disclosure of users' private life, including its specific activity or even appliances and devices of its home. Therefore, controlling access by authentication is crucial for grid privacy. It's important to accept only authorized entities to join the network by verifying their legal identity to get access to their subscribed rules and services. So, a robust authentication is required between all components of the metering system to prevent the previous attacks. While the one-time password, the OTP, is a robust, secure, and reliable authentication technique, we will focus on the OTP-based approaches that address related breaches. Our contribution consists to provide a comprehensive comparison of available works deploying the OTP technique in securing the metering system. We will evaluate the 5 selected propositions based on a framework that addresses their attack resistance, security, communication, and computational costs, as the used equipments are resource constrained. Smart meters are located at the consumer's location. They communicate, concentrate data, and help with future consumption provisioning. Therefore, any alteration of data will affect energy invoices and cause erroneous consumption estimations. Smart grid devices security is a challenge as they are interfaced with many entities and are led to authorizing access to many actors. Smart meters may also suffer physical attacks such as battery removal or modifications. Privacy challenges that face the smart meters can be divided into 3 targeting types. Private life. It can reveal personal habits, behavior, and activities, profile home appliances, possibilities of identity theft. From a marketing view, vendors may use personal lifestyle information derived from energy use for targeted marketing. The criminal targeting, in addition to cyber attacks, and access to smart meter provides near real-time data that may reveal whether a residence or facility is occupied, track specific times, locations, and activities of energy consumption in specific home areas, which can provide a thief by valuable information. In terms of data leakage issues, an attacker or malicious technician that operates on devices of the metering system may share collected data or consumers with other entities that want to use them for advertising, for example, or insurance. So regarding the parameters that we are going to use in our evaluation, we will start with the attack resistance to see if the schemes prevent false data injection, resist insider attack, resist password guessing attacks, if they ensure security against user forgery, if they use full mutual authentication, resist attack by known temporary session specific information, if it ensures perfect forward secrecy, resistance to smart card theft attacks, resist impersonation attacks, resist replay attacks, if they present a one point of failure, and if they resist the man-in-the-middle attacks. For security parameters, we will evaluate confidentiality, integrity, if the user is or no something that is secret. We'll evaluate reconnection attempts and blocking time after multiple incorrect authentications, if there is a secret value, and if they use rule-based authentication. We'll evaluate also the computational costs and communication costs. So, while numerous works have used the OTP as a base of their research in different fields such as IoT, mobile communications, and e-commerce, for example, and since no existing works analyze the use of OTP in ensuring authentication in the field of smart grids, this work gathered the existing algorithm with OTP in the field of smart grids. So, the first work that was selected is the authentication and authorization scheme for various user roles and devices in smart grid. Particularity of this work, in addition to rule-based authentication, is that the scheme is based on a rule that contains on a JSON, that contains various information about the user and the meter, namely hash based on the location, for example. These arguments are not sent through network, and mutual authentication is entirely performed based on role, name, and corresponding substation. The OTP is sent by SMS that gives the process a higher security level, making it challenging to use rogue devices. It also uses hash functions throughout the whole process, verifying the integrity since no one can change the required parameters. Even if the temporary identity may seem to be a vulnerability sometimes, but registration requires a different key in every device and changes every session, which makes the impersonation attacks impossible. Sniffing attacks such as the man in the middle are also impossible since not all parameters are sent in the network and all the transmitted messages are time dependent. The second work, Three Phases Authentication Protocol for smart communication, proposes a scheme where all messages are timestamped, making replay attacks impossible. In addition, parameters are not sent in the clear in the network, and they are all subject to hashes and complicated calculations. Furthermore, every device should generate a key to the smart correspondence meter. Since every smart meter has a token with this information, the attacker should create a new one, and every user's request would fail. The case calculation is based on the OTP and random values. Thus, they change in every session so that even leakage of a parameter in a session would fail in the next one, which means strong forward secrecy because the leakage of a key would not affect the process. The third work is an SK-like one-time password authentication scheme using smart cards for smart meters. The authors of this work used a physical smart card that contains the OTP. This technique makes the proposition highly stronger against many attacks such as false data injection and password attacks. In addition, the proposition limits the login time and is based on granular and temporary values that change with each session. We observe that the vulnerability of this proposition is that an internal user that owns the password of the applicant can use the smart meter for malicious purpose. Consequently, what we recommend here is to use the password from a variable value that changes with each connection attempt, such as an SMS, for example. The fourth work is the identity and access management for IoT in smart grid. This scheme uses advanced encryption based on dedicated key. All the attacks of the disclosure are not possible. Also, the rule-based authentication makes impersonation and internal attacks impossible, since each rule has a dedicated key. The proposition also ensures end-to-end and requires each user who wishes to have access authorization to have an access token appropriate to each rule and to be able to decrypt the response from the smart meter, which is encrypted with a secret key and a rule counter operating frequency of this rule. To compromise the smart meter, an attacker must access both the access token, the secret key, and the rule counter, which is not too easy. And the last work we are presenting today is based on time synchronization. The proposition here lacks mutual authentication between smart meter and the utility system. Also, as mentioned in the same paper, it poses a disclosure problem on the device side. Consequently, the proposition may lead to internal attacks, disclosure, and forward secrecy, and impersonation attacks. On the other hand, this work has the strength of no possible reuse or replay attacks, while the exchanged values continuously change with every session. Also, not all needed values are transmitted in network, which blocks attacks such as man-in-the-middle attacks. Regarding the cost of infrastructures, all the work contains a basic metering infrastructure. Therefore, what makes the difference is the additive resources such as the smart card and the token used in the first two works. So this work provided a comparative evaluation of 5 representative authentication schemes that deploy the OTP technique in the smart metering infrastructure. So our evaluation shows that the OTP deployment is helpful in the perspective of strengthening the privacy of the system. The OTP that changes periodically addresses all the attacks related to guessing passwords or intercepting a precedence value. So as you can see here, there is our bibliography and our references. And here are our contacts. If you have any question or any clarification, you are so welcome to contact us. Thank you so much.